Hi again. For those who don't know, I'm Em. I'm a junior doctor, and in January I left my job for a while for a few reasons. One of those reasons was to slow down a little bit, to make time for the important things and the spontaneous things and the things that didn't happen very often when I was working 50 to 70 hour weeks. And today I wanted to talk about how slowing down has been harder than I thought it would be. Maybe it was a little naive to think that the transition would be straightforward, even though I was desperately in need of more rest. Like so many of us, I've been in full-time study and then work mode for years. And as well as being the main focus in my life, it provided a lot of structure. To have that suddenly gone for more than a few weeks at a time takes a little while to adjust to. And it was easy to keep myself relatively busy in between trip planning, making the most of the time with the people I wouldn't see very often in my normal life, and projects that I'd been putting off for a while, like finishing a half-made crochet cardigan and trying to cram some survival Japanese. There have been so many amazing memories that I've made and things that I've learned, and I wouldn't change any of it. But it's taken getting sick twice in the space of 2 weeks to force me to finally slow down a little bit and get the deeper rest that I've been putting off. When I first got into Japan, it was so easy to fall into sightseeing mode, especially with everything Osaka has to offer. No one wants to miss out on once-in-a-lifetime experiences in another part of the world, and I wanted to make the most of all of it. But this trip is not a 2-week holiday. I intentionally designed it to be relatively slow, to have built-in time for rest, to be able to focus on the flow and the little serendipitous moments that bring so much vibrancy to being somewhere new. The writer Pico Iyer talks about travel, and specifically pilgrimage, becoming an exercise in attention. And so far, some of my favourite parts have been extended, meandering walks, deeply immersed in the present, a long soak in an onsen looking out into a mossy forest, and what has become my usual morning routine, where I drink coffee and journal before going anywhere near the news. So if you, like me, struggle not to fill your days to the brim with projects and tasks, you're certainly not alone. You may not be unemployed, but sometimes it's the small moments which count the most. The pause after the urge to open Instagram and start scrolling, the deep breath taken before a difficult conversation, the few extra minutes in bed with a good book. I know that during those overfilled days last year, the moment that usually stood out for me each night was a few minutes just spent outside, feeling the wind on my face and looking at the clouds. So far, I can highly recommend the book from earlier in the video, How to Do Nothing, Resisting the Attention Economy by Yunior. It articulates a lot of this so much better and in a lot more depth than I could. That's also why I'm much more drawn to YouTube and longer form videos. It feels more intentional. So if you've made it this far, thanks for being here. Feel free to say hi in the comments. I would love to help build a tiny corner of the internet for people to connect if you also want to slow down and live a little bit differently. So, until next time.